Hey everyone, and welcome back to Data Driven Value, where we show you the tools and teach you the skills to help you take your financial freedom into your own hands. Today is Technical Tuesday, so no nonsense, no news. We're just going to jump straight into the charts, do some technical analysis, show you how I approach the markets from this aspect. We're going to look at some trades that we're in, some potential future setups, as well as kind of, some charts that might give us a better idea of where the overall market is headed. So here we're just going to jump right into the charts, starting on Bitcoin USD. Obviously, Bitcoin, it is the big daddy in crypto. It kind of dictates the direction of the market. So we want to see strength in Bitcoin and kind of reflecting through the overall asset class here. Just looking at the highest time frame here on the weekly. Again, I've showed you this, but just looking at this upsloping trend line from cycle peak to peak to peak currently. So just an interesting trend line. If this did end up being the cycle peak, this upsloping trend line connecting all these peaks here, it kind of lines up. So again, it's not technically my base case right now. That being said, I do recognize that this could be a potential peak if we have kind of a broad market breakdown in terms of the SPY or kind of increased global trade tensions. That being said, until the charts tell us that a breakdown is likely, we're just going to assume this is regular consolidation, regular chop, and hopefully we are able to get that another leg up to our higher targets. So we'll flip over to the lower time frame. We'll get into the daily quickly. Just take a look at our momentum indicators, kind of see how things are looking here. So obviously, looking pretty good. Looks like it can support that move up on the daily. RSI curling back up there. We see the MACD also curling back up. We see that histogram hopefully flipping from red to green soon. We do see here in our DMI, we see the orange and the blue lines kind of converging towards each other. That being said, we do want to see that blue line cross on top of the orange, supported by the red ADX line climbing up to really get that momentum move kind of out and further higher. So again, we're just looking at this. We had this long consolidation pattern I pointed out before. We broke out, back tested it. Great swing trade right here, rode up to new resistance, and then again, we're just in this consolidation. I think what we're going through right now, I would say it's similar to what we went through over here. So either we get kind of a continued consolidation, really build support at these higher levels. There's no support up here really, just this price action that we've had on this recent push up. So yeah, we really want to build out that support so that we can really get that second leg up to new highs. So we'll just be watching that. We'll flip over to the even lower time frame because we really want to kind of get a good idea of what's going to happen in the near term, as well as kind of the broad sense. So looking at the daily and the weekly, we could support another move up here. We do need to break out of this down sloping trend line. So obviously resistance right here at about the 103,000 mark, and then you'd see this is kind of a rough price pattern that I want to see for us to continue this bullish momentum. We want to see that breakout, back test, continued higher low, higher high, and then confirm the breakout of this downtrend, and then I think we can attack those new highs, as well as maybe we head towards some of my other targets. So I do have a potential top target of 120,000, give or take a few thousand. I can't really predict how high or if it's going to go any higher. The top could be in, as I said, but just based on the charts right now, based on kind of the cycle top indicators, it's not my base case that the cycle top is in. That being said, a macroeconomic black swan event kind of just could throw a wrench in things. So be aware, we're just follow the charts again, wait for that breakout confirmation, back test, and then we can likely get in here for a continued uptrend there. So kind of flipping over to our 1 hour. So looking at the 1 hour and the 4 hour, we're not looking too great in terms of our momentum indicators. Again, we do see we're just chopping in this range right here. This is a we were in a technical downtrend here, and you see right here we are trying to reverse it. We've been able to, so we just need to hold these lows, put in that higher high, and then maybe we can still continue to the top of this range. But yeah, just interesting to note on the 1 hour and 4 hour, it is looking a little bit weaker. It looks like we might lose this low. If we lose this low, then we need to watch and see if we put in a lower high. We do see all of our moving averages here stacked up. So if we break below these moving averages, retest it, it's not going to look good for a near-term move. Like we come back down, test some of these lower levels, maybe test support through here, Yeah, so basically my plan with Bitcoin, if we come down to these kind of lower, this kind of 94,000 region, I'm going to start a swing position right here, and then I'm going to build that swing position kind of down to about 91,000. Again, not taking too much risk, only putting in what I'm willing to kind of risk for the short term. What I'm looking at on a higher time frame, essentially, we see we're overextended on this rally on a Fibonacci basis. So I pulled my Fibonacci from the swing low here to the swing high up here. That gives us our golden zone right here. You can see the 200-day moving average coming right up. It looks like it's going to be coming up through the 618 right here. So it would be interesting to see if our 200-day moving average coincided with the 618 and we came back, tested it there. You might even start a position here. So I do have it marked at the 786. We could drag it up halfway. Generally with these golden zones here, sometimes you'll enter half your position on the 618 and half your position on the 786, and then that leaves you with an adjusted cost basis right in the middle, and then we would be riding this trade back up to our potential target of about 120 to 125,000. Stop loss kind of below here, kind of as conservative as you can afford to make it. I think if we break below 65,000, we're really going to risk the structure of the market because that's the prior cycle high. So keep that in mind. Bitcoin looking all right for now, but that being said, it's kind of looking very indecisive. So I'll show you these these 5, 6 candles right here. Look at this, guys. So all these candles, look how indecisive the market is here. Just flip-flopping, bouncing in this range. So yeah, very indecisive. We have economic numbers coming out tomorrow, so not getting too aggressive, but just positioning ourselves, figuring out what looks like it makes the most sense from a risk-adjusted standpoint, and then going from there. Looking at Bitcoin dominance here. So obviously Bitcoin dominance, we want to see this breaking down for our altcoins to perform or outperform. So we do see here, we were kind of tracking this this bull flag a little bit. We did break down from it, getting a little bounce from this moving average right here. But again, this is going to be, potentially I just think this is likely going to be that bearish back test rejection, continued downtrend, and maybe we come back to our golden zone around here, see if we find support and see again, watch for that lower high on Bitcoin dominance. Continued lower highs and lower lows signals that trend reversal, which means we might see some strength returning to alts in the near future. That being said, we don't have confirmation quite yet. Still following it, and yeah, just judging it as we go here. Obviously, if we look at the lower time frame though, yeah, so you can see here basically what I want to see playing from here for our alts to go on as outperform. Come up here, rejection, lower low, lower high, come back to our golden zone. That's what I want to see for the alts to really get a bit of a leg up. See if they can actually put in a bit of a bottom structure. We'll flip over to our ETH Bitcoin chart here. Another very important one that we're going to take a look at. Yeah, we definitely want Ethereum to be bottomed on its Bitcoin pair for alts to go on to outperform as well. So if we take a look here, very oversold on the RSI. We're very oversold on the MACD. We see on our DMI here, we do see the blue very low down here, but again, want to see that convergence and then the bullish cross of that line there. Flip over to our 4-hour here again. So this is that bear flag kind of structure. You see here, we're just stuck in this kind of in this wedge. Nothing too crazy happening here. We do see, obviously, again, kind of came down, lower low. We did take out the high, so this is where we want to see that reversal of structure. Again, look for that breakout back test, higher low, something like this for that continuation move. Otherwise, again, you guys know my thoughts. If we just reject and come back here, it's just more consolidation. Yeah, really no kind of signs of ETH Bitcoin bottoming quite yet. Even on the daily, we've only got this one higher low here. So we want to see the higher highs and higher lows start to print on the daily chart, but the momentum indicators look good. It can support that broad move up, but still no confirmed bottom on ETH Bitcoin. Flipping over to total 3 here. So coming down to our support zone here, wick down, hit the 200-day moving average, bounce back up, bouncing from support. Looking pretty good here. We do see that there's a bit of a downsloping trend line kind of right through here. So expect resistance again where these moving averages are stacked, but total 3 looks a little bit better than ETH Bitcoin in my opinion. Yeah, momentum indicators also looking a little bit better. We do see that cross of these two lines, and the orange is closer to the blue for that convergence. Yeah, going on, we'll take a look at the 4-hour quickly though. So again, we do see here, look at this. I think this is a pretty good bear flag, but we did kind of break out and back test it. So we are holding something like this. You know, hold this. As long as we can hold these lows here, we can hold support right around here, put in that higher low, then I think we can attack this trend line here. You know, that would be, if we came back, retested it, bounced, you know, that's a 10% move for total 3 there. So just watching that, keep an eye on total 3. Others dominance kind of looks a little bit similar. We take a look at the 4-hour again. The 4-hour is actually not looking quite as good as total 3. It looks a little bit more oversold. So we flip over here again. Kind of still in that bear flag back test. As long as these lows hold, it looks okay for now. But again, if we lose these lows, expect kind of that continued consolidation price action. You know, some alts are looking good, some are looking weak. So we're going to try and find the ones that look a little bit stronger. Ethereum, Bitcoin, kind of similar. Also, just in this bear flag pattern, guys. So just keep in mind when we see this, you know, we're not going to get too crazy. We're just consolidating. We're either going to break out, back test, get in on that confirmed breakout, ride it to new highs, or we're going to wait, see it break down, see that rejection. You know, we might have de-risk a little bit of our trades here. If we have altcoin trades in profit, you know, de-risk it here if you see Ethereum breaking down. You know, maybe we are just due to come back, tag kind of this support zone here, just with a traditional Fibonacci retracement. So we pull that, and look at that. Right in the middle of our golden zone is the top of my marked green accumulation zone for Ethereum. So look for a position in Ethereum down here. Again, make sure that the momentum indicators are supporting your thesis. When we come back down here, so obviously looking a little bit overheated here, we don't want to see that orange line crossing up, which makes me think this is going to reject kind of just because we're on the low time frame. Again, overheated on the low time frame, 1 hour, 4 hour. I think this breaks down, and then yeah, just watch that back test and watch for the rejection. I think again we just need more consolidation from Ethereum. Flipping over to Ondo. Ondo, I currently have a trade open in them right now. I shared that in my Telegram group. It's a free group. You're welcome to join. I share all different setups, news, I share my videos, kind of all different kinds of stuff. So you're welcome to join the Telegram group. There's about 50 of us in there. Yeah, it's a really great group. You're welcome to request charts, ask me questions, that kind of thing. But this is one of the trades I posted here. So we saw, I'll just give you a bit of my idea here. Saw this long downtrend. We came back, filled that 786 here, so we had our golden zone retracement. We bounced from strong horizontal support. Our momentum indicators supported this move, or this bottom here, and then we waited for that uptrend structure here. We have our confirmed uptrend reversal. We enter our position here. That trade is currently in profit. I've moved the stop loss on that trade up to entry. Just taking all the risk out of this trade. It was a good little move. That being said, we have economic data coming out this week. So again, you don't want to over risk when there is these news events. You know, we're just, and especially the way ETH Bitcoin looks right now, we're taking a couple kind of riskier trades in the altcoins in the event that we do get some dovish language or a bullish advancement, kind of bullish news, and we do get a pop in altcoins. So, you know, not all altcoins are looking the same or looking as strong. Ondo looked strong to me. It did reverse that low time frame trend reversal here and filled our entry, and we're up in profits right now. Obviously coming back right now, might be retesting our entry a bit. Again, I have that stop loss just below my entry, because if we break below it, essentially that loses the structure, that uptrend structure, and it just risks further bleeding, and then we're just going to cut that trade rather than letting it bleed into a loss. Yeah, so really no risk here in this trade currently. Flipping over to Pepe, another one I shared with my Telegram group as well. Another trade that's kind of worked out. So again, we started tracking it back here, and that's what I said. Wait for that higher low, higher high structure. We came back, we back tested it, got our little entry here, pumped up again. We're back testing it again. Again, this one I've also moved my stop loss up, because if we break below these lows, you know, that's a compromise of that structure and it kind of invalidates the trade for me. Other than that, I'm just holding this trade here, and hopefully we do see these upper targets. Worst case, we get stopped out, we haven't lost anything really, and we move on to the next trade. Flipping over to XRP, so another one, you know, looks pretty good, looks better than some of the competitors here. Obviously, breaking out of this wedge on the low time frame, maintaining this uptrend structure. So again, we see that higher low, or yeah, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. As long as this low holds, then I think, yeah, we do have all these moving averages stacked right here. So looking pretty good from a momentum indicator standpoint. You know, this could support a move, not looking the best on the DMI. The MACD is a little overheated, so we'll see if this bleeds back down or not. You know, I don't currently have a position in XRP, but I am kind of watching it as a potential for the swing trade. And then, yeah, just looking at this, so you kind of get an idea. You see this big wedge, we broke out of it, and then we came back. So again, just watch that bear flag kind of structure here, but we'll see if we can get some more strength, and then maybe we take a position there. Cardano pumping today, but look at that, right into resistance. So obviously pay attention to stuff coming into resistance, guys. Don't buy stuff that's pumping, especially if it's pumping right into resistance. But look at the target zone that we marked, almost perfectly filled, kind of right near the bottom, and then held it as support. Pumped up here. Watch for that higher low here. That might be an additional entry. If you're doing it on a swing basis, you know, maybe put a stop loss down here and then wait for that breakout back test confirmation, add to your position, and then ride that up further. Flipping over to Tau, another one. So this is one of my AI bets here kind of thing. I don't currently have a big position. I have a little bit of spot Tau that I've had for a while now. But just looking at it here, we see this downtrend still just rejecting here. So again, look for that higher low, and that's going to be the entry. Stop loss if you want. And then again, our first spot entry is going to be down here. And then we're going to wait for that breakout. We're going to wait for the back test. And then we're going to add to our spot position with a swing position and supplement that for a continued move up. Flipping over to Fetch AI, coming down to our level of support, bouncing from there, at least holding it for now. Hopefully we see some strength from Fetch. Indicators not looking too good, honestly. Based on the chart currently, I would prefer Tau over FET. That's just my personal opinion right now. Looking at Virtual, another one, I've got a spot position in Virtual. Nothing crazy, but I did take I took a little position up here, you know. It wasn't the best trade. Well, at first it was a good trade. You know, we caught this and we caught kind of this move here, but then it ultimately did just bleed. So that's what I tell you, when we see that breakdown of the trend, sometimes it makes sense. Like here, then it made more sense just to cut that trade because we've lost the structure, and then we come up. It gives you a chance to get out of your position before that extended downturn here. Obviously, trying to reverse price action here, what we want to see with Virtual. We flip over to the very low time frame here on the 1 hour. Again, these are really low time frames, guys. I only kind of use them because you want a good idea of what's going to happen in the near term. So we see here, we came down, we put in our low, we swept the low, so double bottom, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. As long as we can hold these lows and break these highs, then Virtual, I think their next stop is $1.50, somewhere at this trend line. But I figure it's going to do something like this. If it does break out, again, you guys know my thoughts. Nothing goes straight up. We always come back test support. This is a much safer entry than entering right here. So just be patient. And again, moving down, we got Solana here. So Solana's broken out. We did manage to put that higher lower high though, and it looks like we could be putting in the lower low right here. So just be careful. If we look at our momentum indicators, yeah, obviously not looking good. Bearish, bearish, and bearish. So yeah, I think we lose this low and then we're just stuck kind of consolidating. Maybe we come back and sweep kind of this area down here, the low 190s. But again, Solana looks not the worst in terms of the high time frame. So we look at the weekly, you know, it looks okay. It's holding pretty good support up here on the macro, but that low time frame really looks like it might break down a little bit. So again, not getting too aggressive, recognizing kind of what's going on in the markets this week. Here's Link. Link came back, filled our golden zone here, bounced up again. Look at that golden zone again. So golden zone doing a great job of calling these lows, guys. So really pay attention to your Fibonacci levels. I really recommend learning them. They've really kind of changed my trading game. I don't just use Fibonacci levels. I use Fibonacci levels with other levels of support. The more support that you can stack in your favor, the more likely that a trade or a trend kind of plays out the way you expect. Again, though, looking at Chainlink, kind of reversing that structure, but we might lose this low. What I want to see, take out this high, another higher low, holding these moving averages. It's nice to see all the moving averages kind of stacked and starting to curl up, but again, we want to make sure we're maintaining that higher high, higher low structure. So just waiting on Chainlink for now. Celestia, another one, pretty interesting again. So a lot of these charts, you can see they're looking very similar. They're trying to reverse on the low time frame, so that's why we're paying attention now. Basically, if you wait to see a reversal on the weekly time frame, you're gonna miss your entry by quite a bit. If you wait and you start tracking stuff on the 4-hour or the 12-hour, eventually that price action, so you see here on the 4-hour, we've got one higher high, one higher low, one or two higher highs, two higher lows if this low holds here. So that's what we want to pay attention to. If this low can hold here on the 4-hour, then it's looking pretty good for a potential trend reversal, So following that, Celestia looks pretty good again. Just make sure holding this low on the 4-hour, and then again, if we do see that higher high, higher low, it might be a good position to take a little swing in Celestia. It's been pretty beaten down over the last week, month, more so than a lot of the other alts. Same with Injective here, kind of coming down, sweeping our area here, deviating below it a little bit. We've gained it back here, holding these lows for now, but again, just consolidation. Injective in this range, for a long-term cycle position, not the worst buying area. That being said, you have to recognize that market risk. Again, I would like to see Ethereum, Bitcoin, and kind of others' dominance really show some strength before I start taking kind of aggressive positions in altcoins. I'm just looking to kind of take swing positions right now to hedge my thesis of kind of a larger downturn in the markets. Flipping over to Doge, I see here, so Doge was actually able to break out of this here. So if we come back, put in the higher low here, that actually looks really good. That would be a bear flag breakout and back test. So if we look here, something like that, coming back testing here, holding these lows, and then we can continue higher. So maybe look for a swing trade of Doge right around there. Not the worst buying opportunity. So I'm going to get a little into some requests from the Telegram group. So right here we got SNX synthetics. I don't personally have any position or any thoughts on synthetics. This is purely from a technical standpoint. So looking at it from the high time frame, not looking amazing here. So we do see we've lost our lows. We did find a little bit of support through here, but it's not really major support. The next major support for them is going to come down here, right through this area here. So that's kind of for synthetics. If we see it break down anymore, this target is a possibility. If we take a look at the Bitcoin pair, we see here, so just bleeding on its Bitcoin pair, not really interesting to me at this time. If it's bleeding on its Bitcoin pair, then it's not going to outperform Bitcoin, and therefore it's not really of interest. Again, wait for that higher low, maybe wait for it to break out, get above these three moving averages here, come back test, put in that higher low, make sure your momentum indicators kind of support that thesis as well, and then that might be your move back up. But it doesn't look too interesting from my opinion right now. Moving to Marathon, so coming here, obviously riding this upsloping trend line, coming back, filling our buys down here. It has kind of bled back down to our almost near this trend line there. So just pay attention to Mara. I do hope that miners kind of get a bit of a pump in 2025, 26. That being said, it's all going to be reliant on what macro markets and Bitcoin does in the long run. So just flipping over here, if we take a look at the weekly, looking pretty good, decent setup on the weekly. The daily is probably going to look a little bit more bullish here. So if we take a look, yeah, more oversold, but again, our DMI is just looking neutral, so maybe more consolidation due for Marathon. We take a look at just our very low time frame here. So again, we are holding this low for now, but kind of that downtrend structure. We want to see it break out, higher highs, higher lows, reversal, and then that's what we want to get into. So Marathon, not really actionable right now, in my opinion. It is holding these these lows on its Bitcoin pair, so it looks all right for now. Doing all right on its Bitcoin pair, but we need to see some strength. Maybe we just come back. We'll get all the support through here. We probably do just come back, tag support here, see what happens. Flipping over to CleanSpark. CleanSpark, beautiful one, came into my accumulation range, kind of chopped in here for a bit. Big breakout move, coming back to our 618786 golden zone, filling our additional entry, and we got a little bounce. So I do think CleanSpark looks a little bit better than Mara. I would expect it to kind of be able to support a bit of a run here. That's a bullish DMI setup. MACD looks all right, and RSI looks like a bullish cross. So want to see some more strength from CleanSpark here, but it looks good from the Bitcoin pair. Look at that, breaking out, holding this kind of resistance as support. Now you can see all the way back through here, it acted as resistance, and it kind of acted as a bit of support here. Resistance, resistance all through here, and now as long as we hold this level as support on the Bitcoin pair, it looks good for CleanSpark. One of my favorite miners. I do like them going forward. Looking at MicroStrategy here, came into my buy zone here on this downtrend breakout, consolidating, little wick down, pretty scary move for some people. Obviously that was that really volatile day, but still just consolidating. Doesn't look too crazy. I have a MicroStrategy position and I'm just going to hold it for now. My cost basis is about $300, just on a few different, combination of a couple spot and swing trades. But yeah, MicroStrategy looks good. That's a good cross of the DMI down here, and the RSI looks good. We would again like to see it kind of break out up here, take out these highs, come back higher low, and then we can continue up from there. MicroStrategy looks pretty good though. We'll take a look at it on its Bitcoin pair again, holding these. So look at that, all through here, that's all resistance, holding it as support, looking good on its Bitcoin pair. So MicroStrategy looks good as well. I'll do a couple more. I know it's getting kind of up there in the video length, but obviously, there's a ton of charts, and it's hard to cover all this information in a short amount of time without skipping over important factors. So looking at Tesla, here we did break below this support line that I marked. We've come back up, retested it. So I had a couple scenarios marked out here. Obviously, it looks like the more bearish of the two might be playing out. So we see here, looks like it could support kind of a good move on the momentum indicators. DMI needs to do a little bit of work. RSI could bottom out a little bit more. So yeah, maybe some more volatility for Tesla. It is extended on a Fibonacci basis. So again, this is my target buy zone here. 335 down to 295 roughly for Tesla. That's what I'm looking at. So it'll come down. I might buy a bit here, and then I might buy a bit down here, and then hopefully get that retest. If we buy here, and it looks good, and we buy in this zone, and we get that retest, or get that breakout retest, you might add here as well. But I think that's probably the most likely path for Tesla going forward. Flipping over to to Dell. This is one I talked about in a few videos. So again, coming down right into resistance, but a nice little move here from Dell off the lows. So this is the very low time frame. If we look at the daily here, you'll see, it's showing no signs of reversal yet. Obviously, the daily price action is not going to look the same as the low time frame. But look at this beautiful 786 retracement, bounce. Look for that higher low. If we get that higher low, that might be a potential entry. Stop loss below the prior low to protect the position, and then potentially getting a bit of a breakout move on Dell. Dell is an interesting one going forward because as an AI server provider and kind of a data center infrastructure provider, they do have kind of a strong presence in the AI market. A lot of big players use them. So we'll just flip over to NVIDIA, last chart of the day. So this is one I pointed out in a few a few times in various videos. I did say when we broke out of here and came back and back tested this golden zone, that was a good buy. So if you did get a position in NVIDIA and you're kind of riding that, good job. That being said, we're right into resistance here. So even if you bought from the middle of the zone here, you're up 15% roughly. That's not bad. It's not a bad time to take some profits when you're coming into resistance and showing a little bit of weakness. Look for that higher low again. Maybe we come back, test this support. If we bounce here, then maybe we get that second leg up. Pay attention to that. If we flip over to our momentum indicators, obviously on the 4 hour, that's why I'm kind of telling you, if you caught this trade, it doesn't hurt to take some profits here because this is a bearish setup kind of. These are curling back down. RSI is curling back over, and MACD is kind of green and looks like it might start to curl back over. So again, look at this. That's lower lows and lower highs on the higher, on kind of this time frame. So pay attention to that price action. If you got the trade, take some profits here, take some off the table, or just move your stop loss up so that you've de-risked the trade. Put your stop loss at entry. Then if the market keeps going up, if it surprises, you're happy, you maintain exposure. Or if the market breaks down, then you're out of that trade, you haven't lost anything, and you're just on to the next one. So that's it for today. If you guys learned something new, you kind of get an idea of how I approach these markets, how I mitigate my risk, how I wait for confirmation, wait for the charts to really tell me what is the most likely price action going forward. Is it a continued breakout, or are we likely to break down? And all the things that I show you give you signals to tell us which is most likely. So thank you so much, guys. If you learned something new, if you like the content, please share, subscribe, like. It all means the world to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.